We are here to talk about Clantucky yet again, and I decided to pull up this picture of this "Welcome to Kentucky" sign instead of hurting your eyes with a picture of Moscow Mitch yet again. And I'm sure y'all are very glad about that. I'm glad about that because I have to hurt and torture my eyes when I have to record and look over the screen and notice that that mug is right there on it. So the reason why we're talking about Kentucky today is because it has been revealed by Moscow Mitch that Kentucky has the highest unemployment rate in the establishment. I don't think any of us are either shocked or surprised by that. Considering the stories that I brought to you about Kentucky in the past and any research that you have done on your own about that state will let you know that this surprises and shocks no one. Remember, Owsley County is all you need to see. Owsley County makes Section 8 look like the suburbs. I would probably rather live in a trailer park than live in Owsley County. I would rather live in a cardboard box than live in Owsley County. That's how bad it is out there. And to be honest, I believe the unemployment rate was already that high even before the virus took a hold. Because remember, in the last video I did, I was talking about how they received $148 billion over the course of 3 years from 2015 to 2018 in government assistance, but their towns still look like crap. So it's like, where did all that money go? That's why they keep putting Mitch McConnell back in there, because they know he's going to find a way to get them some funds, but they don't do nothing with it. So it's like, what do you do with the money? Your town still look like trash and have been for decades. But I'm going to read this article coming from Newsweek. It says, as Mitch McConnell suggests state bankruptcies over bailouts, Kentucky has largest share of unemployed in the U.S. The largest share of unemployment claims filed in the U.S. during the pandemic is in the state of Kentucky, where more than 671,000 workers, nearly a third of the state's labor force, have sought jobless benefits since the start of the pandemic in the U.S. The U.S. Department of Labor released its weekly claim report on May 7th, indicating that nearly 33% of Kentucky's workforce has filed for unemployment benefits in April. Now, that's crazy. They take up the most of the unemployed benefits out of every state in America. Again, surprises no one, considering the type of jobs that's probably out there in Kentucky, which lets me know that they don't have that many essential jobs. Today's report reflects the massive impact that measures to contain the virus has had on the American workforce. This employment situation is exceptionally fluid, U.S. Secretary of Labor Eugene Scalia, but I think it's Scalia, said in a statement after the report on April's numbers was released. We know that today's data reflect neither the additional layoffs that occurred in late April and early May, nor the employees were beginning to return to work in some states. We also know that by reopening safely, we have the capacity to avoid permanent job losses for the overwhelming percentage of Americans who the report shows currently view their job loss as temporary. The new numbers were released the day after Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear announced the first phase of his plan to reopen the state's economy. According to the report, 3,169,000 unemployment claims were filed nationwide during the last week of April, which is a decrease of 677,000 from the previous week's revised numbers. Restrictions implemented in some U.S. states in late March and early April to curb the spread of the new virus allowed many industries to telecommute or work from home, but that's a difficult, if not impossible, task in Kentucky's blue-collar economy, where many jobs are factory-based. Auto manufacturers in Kentucky idled their operations in March and temporarily laid off more than 20,000 plant employees, but will reopen their facilities this month. See what I mean when I tell you, like, this is not a progressive moving state? They're still stuck in the industrial age. They're not in the technological or the information age. What I just read for you in that piece right there lets you know that. Those are jobs that are harder to work remotely, maybe simply impossible to work remotely. Michael Clark, the associate director of the Center for Business and Economic Research, University of Kentucky, told CNN. They're going to be subject to greater job losses during these times of restrictions. The high unemployment rate in the state comes after Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, who represents Kentucky, suggested that states experiencing financial difficulties could declare bankruptcy instead of asking the federal government to give them bailouts. This coming from the same state that has been doing that for years. This is coming from the same guy that has made that happen. I will certainly be in favor of allowing states to use the bankruptcy route, McConnell said during the April 22nd broadcast of the Hugh Hewitt Show. It saves some cities and there's no good reason for it to not be available. However, there is no federal law that would allow for U.S. states to declare bankruptcy, though cities and other local municipalities are allowed to do so. But according to a report from the Kentucky Center for Economic Policy, there were only enough funds to pay for 4 days of essential services statewide in the state's rainy day fund in March when Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency. With few resources in the state's coffers, Kentucky needed federal assistance to bridge the gap of rising costs, including Medicaid for those suddenly without health insurance due to lost jobs and a rise in unemployment payouts. Help came in the form of the Virus Aid Relief and Economic Security, also known as the CARE Act. According to USA Today, Kentucky received more than $2.7 billion from Congress, with $1.7 billion of that considered dedicated money. Most states received an average of $1.25 billion. What does that tell you? Kentucky is the poorest state in America. And they're also the highest state of they're also the state with the highest form of now unemployment, the state with the highest form of government assistance. And it's mostly palm colored people that live there, and it's a red state. I keep telling people, don't let them run that game on you and saying that we are the face of not unemployment, but of welfare and things like that. They make the so-called welfare king and queen look like peasants. Let me read that again. They said they received more than $2.7 billion from Congress through that CARES Act, with $1.7 billion of that considered to be dedicated money, while most states got an average of $1.25 billion. They got more than double than everybody else. And they don't have nothing really to show for us. So that's why I say, where did they put that money at? Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.